So we're going to get into your favorite market, Perry. We're talking about the Austonian and again, an Austin real estate update for what would be, I guess, from what I understand, and I'll let you get into some of this specifics. This is the tallest residential tower in Texas. I've heard people say it's the tallest residential tower in the entire western United States or west of the Mississippi. Is that correct?
It might be. I can't claim that, but I've been up on that top floor, and it looks pretty tall. It's amazing to look down at the Frostbank Tower. You know, the Austonian is a premium product in downtown Austin. You know, the highest property that's sold in there, that's publicly listed at least, is over $3.5 million for 3,700 square feet, about $756 a foot there. Imagine a 3-bedroom, 4-bath home. And at very top floor, they have actually a pretty interesting layout. One of the top floors, I believe it's the 53rd floor, is like a private club. And as a funny story, one of the residents has already reserved that private club because it's free for the residents for their child's prom. It's kind of that's what you can do there. Their prom can actually be in that building. It would be as tall gets, looking down at the Capitol and the Frostbank Tower. And then the next story above that is the fitness room, the workout facilities, a huge yoga area that literally takes up the entire east side of that floor. It's pretty amazing to be in that building.
Well, I got to imagine. I've not been up to the very top of it, but I got to imagine that the views up there just must be spectacular, because if you look at the graphic, the picture on the left of the slide we have up right now, I mean, I remember back in 2007, 2008 when that was under construction. It finished in September of 2009. The skyline, when you look there where the Frost Bank building is and the other towers like at First or Cesar Chavez and Congress are just completely dwarfed by this monstrous tower, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. I can't, you know, I thought being up in the 360 condos would be nice. There are levels of views. That's almost a helicopter tour when you're up that high.
Yeah, and you did that recently, didn't you? And
yeah, I did.
Yeah, the one thing that I've heard about this is that this building is actually a 4-star rated by Austin Energy as a green building. In other words, a lot of times when they're building towers, they don't really worry about the efficiency of the building. And this one's actually been designed not only to be modern with huge amenities and luxury amenities, but it's actually very energy efficient, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, just think of little things like that building is designed to catch the sun of most parts of day, so you don't have a lot of lights on at any time. You're going to have floor-to-ceiling windows over there that are going to capture, and that's a really big point of energy waste. You have you know, really high-efficient elevators that are super fast. You have water collection units that actually use the water to actually the gray water, as they say, to go ahead and they use that water to plant in any kind of landscaping that they have. It's actually a pretty amazing feat of engineering, too, to be up there that tall and not use the energy that it could use in a traditionally built building.
Well, absolutely, and I think that's what, I mean, who are the typical people buying? We're going to talk about sales here in a minute. So you talk about a $3.5 million, almost a house in the sky, if you will, and you talk about the people who are moving in. Are these, some of them, wealthy folks from places like Houston and Dallas? They know they want to live in Austin, and they're getting in now?
Well, the people I've been showing them to are the people who live out on Lake Austin, Lake Travis, who have these huge 5-6 bedroom homes. All the kids are in college now, or they have the last one in college now, and they're downsizing. And they're selling their house on Lake Travis for, let's say it's $2 million, and then going down and buying a 2-bedroom, 2,100 square foot place for 1.6 and paying cash. You know, when you have those types of resources, you actually have the ability to get great deals right now.
I would imagine. And I know that when we look at, you know, let's just talk about the first news article we talked about. We have a lot of in-migration from other areas, and certainly retiring folks that have large amounts of equity and wealth coming in from Dallas and Houston, as well as from out of state. Certainly this would be a good targeted type of property for them if they want, you know, like you said, they're empty nesters and the kids are gone. And then right within Austin, we've got all this wealth on the west side of the Central Corridor, Westlake out through West Austin and in the Central Corridor, in some of the areas there where they don't have kids at home anymore, and they want to enjoy downtown at this point, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, just enjoy a different lifestyle. They don't want an empty house for sure. You know, I think the first time I was ever exposed to properties that sell for this type of square footage was probably in New York City. That was 2 years ago. I went there, took a trip with my wife, and she had some friends that lived actually in Manhattan. And I was asking, and I see the very similar build-outs over there, $1,300 to $1,700 a foot in downtown Manhattan. And we do have a large influx of high, especially in the financial industry or the insurance industry. There are a lot of companies that are relocating into this area. In fact, there was one last year that brought in about 1,500 jobs that they located their headquarters right there in the Westlake area, right by BK's and 360. So we do have those sites, and they look at this as a deal. People coming from San Francisco, oh my God, they can't believe we're so cheap. It's a different world in other places.
Well, it is, and like anything else, even in the housing stock, people from the West Coast or from the Northeast think our residential housing is cheap. People looking at these condos have to look at it. I mean, here we can look at the median price, Perry. If you look at through the end of July, for units sold was $630 and change per square foot. If I came from Manhattan, I was used to 1,000 plus or 1,500 plus. It's a pretty good value. You know, the median price at $1.85 million for these 4 units that have sold is pretty high and an eye-opener for people from Austin, but not if you're from another market or you're selling a house on Lake Austin for $3 or $4 million. And you owned it free and clear. You've got plenty of money to buy into that type of a unit, correct?
You do. And the Austonian is very similar to 2 other products here in town, Four Seasons, of course, and the W Hotel. They have very similar pricing structures with similar sales results right now. I wish there was more information that was public so I could share that with the community. But they do keep something on there, and the Austonian keeps a lot more than the other projects. So we like to use this as a good example of what can be bought out there. I think they start around $650,000 for a 1-bedroom. That's 1,200 square feet, and they go, at least the highest one on record is $3.6 million.
Right. So there's a big range in there depending on the size, and like you said, if the Austonian's not the perfect fit, you've got the W residences, you've got the Four Seasons, you've got other choices that you will show people, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
And these are the 3-bedroom.
Absolutely. If you're listening to this and you're interested in looking at some of the luxury units downtown, Perry is your guy. You're going to want to follow with him, and he can take you not only into the Austonian, but the other units downtown as well.